working together.
It's a good Tory word, together, and especially so here in Scotland. It emphasises that ours is a united kingdom and we are the Conservative and Unionist Party. And as such, we believe in working together, north and south. And for so long as there's a Conservative government, that's precisely how it will remain.
He said some people in the chattering classes were saying it was time for a change, but switching to Labour would be a change for the worse. The Conservatives had made the changes that were really necessary.
Some of the changes we Conservatives have made have been very painful, and they've hurt people. And they have hurt us politically too, in by-elections and in local elections. But although it hurt, it worked. The proof of the pudding, as the old saying goes, is in the eating. And when we look around us, we can see life getting better and our country becoming more prosperous.
John Major used this speech to warn of the dangers of a return to Labour rule. In particular, he said that if Labour did set up a Scottish Parliament, it would be a change a future Tory government might be unable to reverse. Colin Blaine, BBC News, Aberdeen.
Head teachers are threatening to disrupt the government's plans for primary school league tables. Tests for 11-year-olds start next week, but the National Association of Head Teachers may withhold the results from the government to prevent their use in league tables.
The tests, which began last year, apply in England and Wales, but not Scotland. Like those at 7 and 14, their introduction was delayed by the teachers' boycott. This protest is not about the tests themselves, but the use of results to publish the first league tables of primary schools. The government had promised not to produce tables until the tests had bedded down. But earlier this year it changed its mind for England, although there'll still be no tables in Wales. The head teachers leader says the tables will be invalid and wants school governors to refuse to publish the results. Ministers say that would be breaking the law.
The tests are perfectly workable and parents have the right to know how their children are performing and how schools are performing, and that is what underpins the government's policy.
But the National Association of School Governors has said it won't condone breaking the law and has criticised the head teachers for asking them to do so. Mike Baker, BBC News.
There's been a second day of violence at a detention centre for Vietnamese boat people in Hong Kong. Police fired tear gas to try to dislodge several hundred Vietnamese from the rooftops. Stones and spears were thrown by the inmates and 4 policemen have been injured. There was a mass breakout yesterday when the authorities tried to transfer inmates to another camp before their repatriation to Vietnam. Some are still on the run. The British heavyweight boxer Lennox Lewis has scored an unconvincing victory over the American Ray Mercer in New York. Lewis, who's hoping to fight Mike Tyson for the WBC world title, won on a split points decision.
Re-emerging from Frank Bruno's shadow, Lennox Lewis entered the arena at Madison Square Garden, determined to confirm his belief that he can beat Mike Tyson. But after this performance, it's hard to imagine many sharing that confidence. 35-year-old Mercer, himself a would-be title challenger, enjoyed periods of sustained aggression throughout the fight. And although Lewis was prepared to match Mercer punch for punch, brawl for brawl, he never managed to take control of the fight. Afterwards, Lewis described the contest as a positive step towards a Tyson fight, pointing out that Mercer is similar in style and approach to the champion. But the result, a split points decision, was in doubt beyond the final bell. One judge ruled the fight a draw, the other 2 came down narrowly in favour of Lewis. Another judge, this time in a New Jersey court, ruled last week that Lewis is the #1 challenger to Tyson. The testimony of the boxer himself today was hardly convincing. Duncan Jones, BBC News.
And that's all for the moment. There'll be more from the newsroom after the cup final.
Saturday night on BBC One. At 5 to 6, Big Break heralds snooker's newcomers who could be the stars of the future. At 6:25, Superman encounters a secret agent with a double life.
What are you doing here?
Hello, son.
Confessions catches up with the culprits at 7:10. Then Gloria Estefan is this week's star guest on the National Lottery Live.
Very impressive.
And at 8:05, when a virus threatens disaster, the Bugs team come out in style. Then Jane Seymour is the praying mantis, her victims the men she weds.
Has anybody ever said no to you?
Never twice.
And with FA Cup final highlights in Match of the Day from Wembley at 10:45. That's Saturday night on BBC One.
Welcome back to Wembley. It is Cup final day, and as you see, the atmosphere building up very much just outside the stadium. The gates will be opening shortly and the fans will be flooding in. Manchester United against Liverpool. The teams are on their way to Wembley, and we'll be talking to the players very shortly indeed. Now, of course, he's had his trials and tribulations very well documented, to say the least, but he's won 4 championships in the last 5 years in English football. There's no doubt that Eric Cantona is one of the greats, and this week I went to meet him. Eric, first of all, many congratulations on winning the championship again. How does winning the championship this year compare with the other championships that you've won?
The first one with Manchester was great. This one is very important for the club after last season, and very important for myself, because I had a lot of things to prove this season.
Yes.
After the incident that everybody knows last year.
Of course.
So it was a lot of critics about myself, so no problem. So the critics can be very positive.
Yes, that incident, as you call it, in a sense, seems to have changed your life in many ways. I mean, it was an awful thing to happen at the time, and you got much criticised for it. But sometimes something really bad that happens like that turns out for the good. Is that how you see it in a way?
Yeah, I always try to put the things in that way.
Yeah.
I think we learn from everything, and a bad thing can be turned good things.
Yes.
It's very difficult at the moment, but if we think about the future, we use it to put the future under the sun.
Mm-hmm. Tell us about the influence that Alex Ferguson had on you after the problems of last year. Tell us about him persuading you to stay at Manchester United. How much persuasion did that need at the time?
He just asked to me if I wanted to leave the English football, because he knew it was a very difficult time for me, and I just say no. But he didn't try to persuade me, because he knew it was a difficult time. He wanted me to stay. If I wanted to stay, I wanted to stay. So,
Can I ask you how close you might have been to not wanting to stay at that time? How close were you to thinking, I'm getting away from England and all this problem and the press and everything else, and I'll go?
I was close to sign somewhere else, because I didn't know if Manchester United wanted me to stay at the moment, because I received a lot of critics, and them too. So it was so I just wanted to stay.
You were, I think I'm right in saying that you were first influenced by Michel Platini to come to play in England. Is that right?
When he came to speak to me, I stopped playing football. I stopped for 2 months.
You quit. You decided to quit football, yes, at the time. Yeah.
Quit. Yeah.
Yeah.
And after 2 months, I didn't want to play anymore, because I didn't want to play anymore in France or in Italy or in Spain.
But Platini encouraged you, I think.
Yeah, so he came and he said, you must come back. You're young. I was 25 at that time. And I said, no, I don't want. He said, maybe England, what do you think? I said, yes, England, but in England it's very difficult to play for a foreigner, because even if I played at that time maybe 25 times for France, I'm sure they don't know me. So it would be difficult to play there. But I had a chance. Leeds given me the chance.
Alex Ferguson was criticised for signing you to begin with. He knew more about it than the critics, obviously. But what did you feel about when you first went to Manchester United? Did you feel welcome? Did you expect to do as well as you?
No. when I arrived here, I felt now I'm in a big club, in a great club. All the players around me was so good, so great. But I knew I had everything to prove, and I didn't afraid about it. I'm very confident, always. I always have been like that. I'm sorry, but
no, don't be sorry. It's
I
good.
Yeah.
What about?
I'm not arrogant, like the people say. I'm just confident about myself.
Tell me about the technique of the players here. We're very self-analytical and critical in this country, and say that our players don't have sufficient technique. What's your view on that?
I think the people who say that they are wrong. Because what's the technique? Depends what the people think about the technique. Technique, for me, that's pass, control, pass, cross, the ability to score goals, the ability to tackle properly. And for me, the English players are the best, the best. But if you speak about entertainment, creativity, maybe they have to work more. But in terms of technique, I think they got everything.
When you trained with Manchester United, how much do you still work on technique, and how much did the other players, work on technique? And do you influence their technique?
I don't know if I influence them. I just work what I feel I need to work. If I don't score a goal, if I miss chances, I will stay 15 minutes after training in front of the goalkeeper, or ask somebody to cross the ball to me and try to score, and because I'm not happy about myself and I want to improve it.
Yeah. Tell me about the cup final now. I would imagine that you will play much more freely, having won the league championship. Is that right? You'll play with more abandon, more freedom, perhaps.
Yeah, I think so. I think next season we lost in the final because we didn't win the league.
Last season?
Last season. We didn't win the league the week before. Yes. So next...
Mind you, you weren't playing.
Yeah, but it was my teammates, it was me. It's like a big family.
Yes. When Kanchelskis and Ince and Hughes left Manchester United, again, there was much criticism, said, well, Manchester United cannot win anything this season. How did you feel about that when those three very famous, respected players, when they left the club? What were your feelings about what might happen? Were you concerned?
I'm too optimistic. Optimistic or
optimistic?
Optimistic.
Yeah.
I think I can win a game if I play only on my own against 11 players. So I'm not worried about nothing. But I respected them, and I still respect them because we had a great time together. And but life is like that. Before us, it was a life. After us, it will be another one.
But the young players who've come in have done a wonderful job.
Yeah, of course. But I think the most important season for them is next season.
Can they maintain it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because after one season, and you win the championship, maybe I think that's it. No. Next season, that will be the most difficult in their head, I think.
Yeah.
But they will handle it, and we still win.
Recently, of course, you've been captain of the team. How much do you communicate on the field with the other players? When I watch you play, you seem to be, although you play with the players, obviously, but you seem to be an island. You're very composed on the pitch. I mean, how much do you communicate with the others? Because a lot of the Manchester players, they yell at each other all the time. You seem very quiet, sort of serene on the park. Is that a misconception on my part? Or?
Yeah, you may be right. Maybe sometimes I want to say something, but I cannot find the word. I need time to find the word. In football, you have to think very quickly. So that's maybe the reason. I don't know.
Let me ask you about France, playing for France. Now, we've got Euro 96 coming. Will you be part of this, do you think? Do you expect to be? Do you want to be?
I need holiday. Everybody needs holiday after a long season in England. We've got it's Champions League next season, so the people who will play in Euro Championship will be tired, I think, next season, like they was after the World Cup last season. It's always like that. Milan wasn't champion, Barcelona wasn't champion, Manchester United too. So yeah, after the World Cup, it's very difficult. After the European Championships, it will be the same. And I think the next very important part of Manchester United, it's the Champions League next season. We all want to win it. Okay. Important for English football, important for us, important for everybody. If you don't win it, the people will forget us easily. Just if you just win in your country, you're not credit.
So what you're saying to me is that it's to Manchester United's advantage if you don't play in Euro 96.
I think all the players who will not play in the European Championship will get an advantage.
Yeah.
But if I play, I will be happy. If I don't play, I will go on holiday and I will be fit next season.
And how do you see life after that, or do you not look very far ahead? How do you see, would you...
Depends. When we win, I want to stay in football. When we lose, I want to quit. But I don't know. Maybe manager or maybe something else.
Here?
Here in England, yeah. Yeah, I will stay here. I will stay in England. I will stay for my children because now they are at school here and they got all their friends here and they are very happy here. And we are too now, so we stay here.
Eric, tell me, away from playing football in England, what do you do? How do you... We relax watching you play football. How do you relax?
I relax to listen to you. On TV on Match of the Day. No, I don't know. I don't know. I'm with my family and I am happy with my family. I see my children growing up and I just need a lot of things.
Your older boy is, I think he's a football fan, yes?
Yeah. Man United fan.
Of course. But is he a fan of his dad or somebody else in the team?
I think that the children like to be goalkeeper or scoring goals. When he's goalkeeper, his idol is Peter Schmeichel for a long time now. I think 3 or 4 years. He was very young. He was 4. It was young to have an idol, I think. But it was him, more than me. But when he wants to score goals, speak about me.
Yeah.
But I'm not. I'm just his friend. I want my son to be a friend. I love him. I love him, I love my daughter, I love my family. Just as a friend.
At the time your life was under the spotlight very much and you were being criticised for those activities we spoke about earlier. How did your wife cope with that? How did your wife really, the children would have been too young. How did your wife put up with this and cope with this inspection, minute inspection into your life?
She was pregnant at the time, so it was... But even for my children, for my son, it was difficult. He was 7 and at school, I think the children are more cruel than the men. So, but we spoke to him very much and, you know.
And at that time your wife was able to cope with it and...
Even at that time. Just think about something else. I'm a football player, I was banned, so I wasn't allowed to play football. So we thought about something else. And we found something else to be happy.
But you've come through it and as you say, it's changed you for the better in many ways.
No, not really. Not really. No.
But your attitude on the field and your play and the fact that
I just do now what I enjoy to do. If I change, like I said to you, just because I try to live in harmony with myself. So now the harmony with myself, it's maybe the way I play. But before it was something else. And maybe in the future that will be something else. But just try to be in harmony with my body, with my mind. At the moment, that's this one.
Can I ask you finally about your relationship with the Manchester United fans? They absolutely idolise you. How do you feel about them?
It's what can I say? I respect them very much. I love them. But last season, for 8 months, I never stopped to sing, even 15 seconds in a game. But they thought about it. I will never forget it. Never. And I will try to give them the pleasure they need to receive every time.
And for 2 more years?
Yeah, for 2 more years. Maybe longer. Or maybe shorter. We never know in life. Yeah. But I'm very, very, very happy.
Thank you for doing the interview with us.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
That was Eric talking this week, perhaps a little different from how you imagined him to be. I don't know. Certainly was as far as I was concerned. Now we're moving rapidly towards kick-off here at 3 o'clock. The fans have started coming in. They've been preparing themselves, obviously, for a few hours this morning. And the kids are here, and they're going to have a splendid day. And we hope it's a splendid match. It's got that classic potential, of course, United against Liverpool. We hope it turns out to be that way. Now, where are we going? I've completely forgotten for the second. Oh yes, we're going to hear from. Yes, Eric, of course, got his Player of the Year award in London this week, and let's take a look at him getting that now.
Happy, Eric.
Congratulations. He's obviously a special player, Bobby. What makes him so special in your view?
Well, he finds the game very easy. He works hard at his game, but he finds the game easy. You know, he has no trouble with control. He has no trouble with pace. And he's got something that you can't teach anyone. He's just got vision. He sees things. He has this radar where he knows people are around him. He seems to know the tackles are coming. And he can make instant decisions, you know. And he makes instant decisions on his passing, on his shooting. And he's just a wonderful player.
I enjoyed working with him for 3 months at Bordeaux in France, and he was having tremendous problems in France at the time when he came from Marseille. But no, amazing character. Someone I don't think you really do get to know in depth, but fantastic ability.
The great thing I've got to respect for Eric is that the problems he's had, and he's had a lot over his career, not just in England. And the pleasing thing is he's come through. For Manchester United, basically, a lot of people are saying he's won a title. It takes 11 players to win a title or more. But I think the main thing is that the way, when Man United was stuttering a bit, Eric would come up with the goods.
I was very critical of him 7, 8 months ago, 11 years ago, longer, the Crystal Palace incident. But he's come back and he's been a better player and he's been a better guy for it. And I think everybody at Manchester United, I think Alex Ferguson deserves a real pat on the back because he stood by him. I think when everybody else, me included, criticised him, probably would have seen the back of him. So I'm delighted for him, I'm delighted for Alex Ferguson as well.
Eric Cantona, Player of the Year. Now, a man who must have run him close is Ruud Gullit, but of course he's just been appointed player-manager of Chelsea for the next 2 seasons. Let's now meet the man who made that appointment, Mr. Ken Bates.
Ken Bates, the FA Cup final in a moment, but you have a new manager, Ruud Gullit. Did it take a lot of persuading him to take the job over?
No, not at all. In fact, we're talking to him before Glenn gave his final decision, because it's fairly clear what was going to happen. And Ruud wanted a way to think about it, not whether he should take the job, but he wanted to go away and think about how he would do it, what the implications would be. And he got that clear in his mind. And we had a meeting with him yesterday. Colin sat down and did the deal with him in 45 minutes. And within 10 minutes, he was out on the terraces with his mobile phone, which is the only place where there's any privacy at Chelsea at the moment, speaking to Europe, to players that he wants to bring to Chelsea. So we're delighted.
So he's going to make signings, that's what you're telling us, straight away?
No, there you are. Think about it.
What sort of names?
You'll be the first to read about it. Don't miss reading the papers this week.
Why should we read it in the papers, though? You say he's on the phone. Do you mean that seriously? He was he's actually quite keen to sign people.
I'm totally serious. Of course I am. He wants to improve the team, and but we don't do our negotiations in public. We do them, and then we tell him what we've done. And that's the right way to do business in football.
Right, the cup final this afternoon. Who's going to win?
Well, I suppose the red team, but. I think it'll be a very interesting game. I've no idea. I have no particular wishes. I just hope it's a cracking game and a good advert for Premier League football, since probably 1 billion people are watching it throughout the world.
Ken, thanks very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
1 billion people, OK. Now, have I got a guest for you? Angus Dayton.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
United fan?
Yes, since the age of 6.
Really?
Yeah, I saw them beat Leicester 3-1 in 1963, and I've been a fan ever since.
Somebody told me that you were a Crystal Palace fan at one stage.
Who said that? Dave Bassett?
Probably.
I had trials for Crystal Palace when
Did you
I was
really?
Younger. Yes.
Well, you could play a bit, could you, when you were a kid?
I was too good, unfortunately.
Too good. They saw too much talent. They thought it'll be expensive. Get rid of it.
That's right. But I still feel as if I had the same shortness of pace and sluggish ball control that Dave Bassett admires in many of his team selections. No, I used to play. I loved football when I was younger.
Yeah. Do you still get a game? Do you still have a
occasionally.
Game? Yeah. A few friends together and.
That's right. Yeah. Well, I was playing it here actually not that long ago. But before the Autoglass Trophy final, I was playing in the centre of defence with Chris Evans, and we lost 6-0.
Really?
Before you ask.
So, do you get to see United much?
As much as I can, but it's not as much as I'd like to. But I've seen them a few times. I saw them beat Forest 5-0 when we effectively wrapped up the title, so hoping for the double today.
Yeah. Big show, isn't it? Have I got news for you? Big hit. Made
Seems
you very
to be
famous.
Well,
you're an actor, really, aren't you?
Well, I started off acting. Yeah, that's what's kind of weird, and I've gone over into presenting.
Is it all ad-lib?
Sorry, what's my line? Oh, right. Yes, it is. Yes, that's right.
I thought it probably was.
Yeah. Well, it's the usual mixture.
Yeah.
And
the stuff that's very cleverly written, do you write it or do you co-write it?
Well, all of, I mean, Paul Merton, when he was on the show, and Ian Hislop's ad-libs, I write. And then any of the scripted stuff I make up as I go along.
Super.
Yeah.
Thanks for clearing that up.
Right.
Now, what about the match today? I mean, obviously, as a United fan, you want them to win, but do you really feel that they're going to win?
I think it's going to be a tense struggle. It's going to probably go into extra time, I would think, and then I think United might just shave it 4-0.
Just the close one?
Just the 4. No, I do genuinely think it's going to be 1 goal in it, and provided it's United's goal, I'll be happy. But if you look at the games that the two teams had in the Premiership, you'd have to say that Liverpool probably shaded
it, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Who's the player that stands out for you in the United team that you admire most the skills of?
Well, I have to say we've relied on Schmeichel a few times. I think without him we wouldn't have nicked the points in quite a few matches where we did run out winners in the end. If we hadn't have had him in goal, we wouldn't have kept the clean sheet. So I would pick him as my man of the season.
And Cantona, do you know him? Did you see the interview we just did with Cantona? You just missed it. He came in a little late.
No. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Have you met him? Do you know him?
No. I've seen him naked, but I've never actually met him. I've been down to the dressing room just before the game, so up at Old Trafford, and I've seen his tattoo. But
have you?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I won't ask you any more about that, but he came over as a rather different character than we first anticipated. He was quite charming.
Well, he's a god, of course,
at least
in our eyes.
At the very least, yeah. Enjoy the match. Thanks for popping in, Angus. Angus Dayton. Now, we're waiting for a great performance, perhaps this afternoon, from Stan Collymore. He's a rather enigmatic player. He can do great things. Sometimes he's, well, to be frank, he's quite ordinary. Well, Gary Lineker has been along to see him.
As Stan Collymore makes his way to Wembley, he'll have time to reflect that he's come a long way. In 5 years, he's gone from non-league football to become Britain's costliest player after being rejected as a teenager at Wolverhampton Wanderers.
I was actually taken on as a YTS, and things didn't go well at all. I actually joined in the second year. Didn't really know anybody. All the lads sort of knew each other, and I felt a bit of an outsider, to be quite honest.
How hard was that?
It was very hard. I can remember quite vividly the day that it happened. I sort of walked out of Molineux and I was thinking of sort of all sorts of excuses what I was going to go back and tell friends and family. But as it was, they were all brilliant.
It was sort of embarrassing in a way.
It was because, like I say, I was all geared up. I knew I was going to go into the manager's office and I really felt I'd done enough to earn a contract. But unfortunately, it wasn't to be.
He may have started on the bench at Stafford, but not for long. His former striking partner was soon aware of his potential.
Looking back, I think Stan was special. You know, he had things at 18, 19 what, you know, I would probably have to work at. You know,